Hi, how's it going? My name's Stevie, and I'm going to go through my guitar rig for you. First thing I'm going to start off with is the amp. I play on a Fender Supersonic 22 watt, which is a cool little amp because it's got two different channels, one clean, and the dirty channel is a bit dirtier than you would normally expect from a Fender amp, which is why I like it. So let's take a look. So this is the Fender Supersonic 22. It's blonde, which I like, looks pretty cool. And you've got two different channels here. Here you have the clean channel. Let's try to focus that up a little bit. Got the clean channel controls here, volume, treble, and bass. I actually don't use this channel unless I'm playing in somewhere where I can turn up really loud. I don't really use a channel switching to go from clean to dirty. I like to just use my volume knob. So depending on where I'm at, how big the room is, how loud I can turn up, kind of determines whether I use the clean channel or the dirty channel. So the clean channel, you got to turn it up pretty high in order to get it to break up. So I save that for when I can turn it up really loud. When I'm playing at home, I go here to the dirty channel, which has got a little bit more control over it, and it's cool knobs. You've got gain 1 and gain 2. Gain 1 is the primary gain, where you get all your dirt. Gain 2 kind of has just a little bit more beef and a little bit more compression. I don't like it very compressed. I use pedal for that, so I keep that kind of low, and I keep the gain pretty low as well. This gives it more of just a slide on the edge or breakup kind of feel. So I can back off the volume knob just a little bit to get a really clean sound, or I go full out to 10 on the volume knob on the guitar to get it really dirty. And then I just use pedals to go any further from that. It's got a 3-band EQ, treble, bass, middle. I don't know why my mids are so high, it shouldn't be like that. And then basic volume, which at home I keep between 2 and 3. And like I said, if I want to go somewhere louder, I'll actually go to the clean channel and just turn that up. So it's got a spring reverb, which is pretty cool. Also not very reliable, but I do like the sound of it. Next we're going to go through the pedals. My pedal board looks a lot more complicated than it is. So anyway, directly in front of the amp, the first thing we go to is the wah pedal, which is a Joe Bonamassa wah. I'm a big fan of Joe Bonamassa, as anyone knows, and his wah, I find, it's the best voice. It sounds like those classic Vox wah pedals that I really dig. So I use that. I'm not a big wah guy, but on the occasions that I use it, it sounds pretty cool. Next I have a Ernie Ball Volume Pedal Junior. I believe it's a Junior. Yes, it's a Junior. I use this just for basic volume swells. You know, kind of does what it's supposed to do. What's cool is it's got two different outputs. One of the outputs goes straight into the rest of the line, but the other output goes here to my tuner, so I can leave my tuner on and kind of check tuning as I play. It's while we're on the subject of the tuner, it's a pretty cool little tuner. Polytune Mini. It does what it's supposed to do. It lets me tune my guitar. Basically that, and it doesn't take up a lot of space on the pedal board, which is nice. Next we have this, the Fuzzface Germanium version. This one's pretty cool. I like it a lot. I also have the silicone version, which is a cool pedal, but it's a little bit too harsh for me. I like this because if this whole pedal went down, I could basically use the fuzz face for everything. I could keep it all the way up for fuzz, I can back off the volume a little bit and it gives a good dirt sound. I can back all the way and it'll go clean. It's for a two-knob little tiny thing, it's a really versatile pedal, and I like it quite a bit. From there, we go to the MXR Dynacop compressor. I shouldn't even have to talk much about these. They're very cool pedals, very useful. Can be a little bit tricky to use. Took me a long time to really learn how to use it. I keep it only really for clean parts. I don't really use compression on the dirt because there's enough compression as it is. And oh look, Striker decided to say hello. Hi Striker. After the MXR we go into a TS-808 reissue tube screamer. Basically does what they've always done. I use this on top of the gain on the amp already to give it kind of a classic rock sound. You know, it's really cool. It's very mid-range heavy, and I like that. So tube screamer, we go into an full-tone OCD. This is an awesome pedal. This thing is badass. It's a little bit heavier, has a bit more of a British sound because I use it in the HP. I can't remember what that stands for. The LP uses for kind of a, I think it's low peak, high peak. The low peak is a little bit more transparent. The high peak gives it a little bit darker sound, more British, Marshally kind of thing. And I love this pedal. This is more heavier gain kind of thing. I can also combine the two to make some pretty almost unusable distortion, but it's pretty cool if I really want to make some noise or if I'm in a bad mood. From there it goes into the amp. Everything else on here is in the effects loop. So we'll start from the effects end. It goes straight into a super trim. This is a very cool pedal, and for a long time this was actually first in my chain in front of the amp because of the volume boost it could give me. But I haven't really been using it as such lately. It's cool. You can go press this button. It goes to half speed, which is very cool. Bypass, and this it gives it kind of a more hard, soft. I can't really explain how it does it, but it's pretty cool. It's kind of exactly what it says it is. It's the hard trim is basically womp 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 womp, while the soft is kind of a wah. The signal doesn't cut completely out in soft, and the hard it'll cut completely out. But it's a pretty cool pedal. I like it. It's one of the best trims I've played, outside of your kind of boutique-y kind of stuff. And you can hear my cat whining because the dog keeps messing with him. So from Alright, so I took a little break there to figure out what was wrong with the dog and the cat. That's solved. After the super trim, I go into the MXR Phase 90. Now, everyone knows this pedal. This is the Van Halen in a box pedal. Anyone who plays guitar and has any knowledge of pedals or any experience has probably played this or at least knows what it is. I actually don't use it that much. I keep it almost as low as it'll go to just kind of give it a little slight, subtle texture. It's also cool if you want to do like that kind of have a cigar kind of guitar sound, which is pretty much why I bought this pedal. This spot in the pedal board kind of rotates. It's kind of whatever I'm feeling at the time. Every other pedal is used pretty frequently by me, with the exception of maybe the trim. But so in this spot, I had a Boss BF3 in it at one point. I had this various different Univibe clones in there. It's just whatever I'm feeling at the time. As I get bored, I'll switch it out. So right now the Phase 90 is what I've been playing, and even then it's very seldom used. Still a cool pedal though. It does some really cool stuff. From the Phase we go into a TC Electronics Corona Chorus. Knobs on the wrong spot there. This is a really interesting chorus pedal. For starters, TC's got this new thing they're doing with these pedals, the tone print, where you can flip this switch into the middle, this switch right there, and plug it in with USB and download like an artist preset. Like Orianthi has a preset, and that dude from Guns N' Roses, Bumblefoot, has a preset, and there's like 50 of them or something like that. That's cool. I'm not really interested in using someone else's sound. It's just not me. I'd rather do it myself. The other cool thing is the other two modes. It's got your standard chorus mode, and then you can flip this switch all the way to the bottom, and it goes into tri-chorus, which is this super lush 80s kind of chorus. It's not subtle at all. It's very pronounced. It's cool. I don't really use it. I use just the standard chorus, and I keep it fairly moderate setting, nothing too heavy. But it makes some really cool sounds, and it's really kind of one of my key pedals as far as what I play and the music I do. I use this chorus a lot. With the exception of my dirts, this is probably my most used pedal. After that, we have two delay pedals. I'm a big fan of delay pedals. I love delays. They're fun. You can do some cool stuff with them. I don't really do the whole dotted eighth thing like the Edge. That's, for one thing, it's hard enough to dial that in with these two pedals, but also it's just not kind of how I do it. This I have set very short. This is an MXR carbon copy, and it's one of the coolest delays on the market. It's for one, you can do these. You can hit this switch right here, which I don't really use, but you can add some kind of chorus, I guess, to the delays, a little warble almost. And you can go in, open up the pedal, and there's like a little switch. You can turn the warble the chorus higher, more pronounced. I don't do that because it's a pain in the ass. I don't feel like unscrewing the back of a whole pedal plate just to turn a knob. So anyway, I keep the delays very short on here, kind of almost a slapback, I guess. But with the mix turned a little higher than you normally would for a slapback. It just adds a little bit of texture. It's not very pronounced. It's almost reverb-ish in nature, and the way I use it. But I like it a lot. It's very cool. And then we have the DD3, which is my favorite delay ever. Pay no attention to the settings that are currently on there because those are settings I don't use anymore. I just never took the tape off. You know, I use this, you know, back to Joe Bonamassa. I use it kind of in his philosophy with basically every pedal at noon. Although I turn the mix down a little bit if I'm playing by myself, because otherwise the echoes get overwhelming. These are just old settings. This setting up at the top I use if I want to do kind of a Teenage Wasteland kind of, sorry, Baba O'Reilly kind of thing, where it kind of doubles my guitar a little bit. So it's really cool. Makes it easier to play that keyboard lick on guitar. And then from there it goes straight back into the amp, and I use two different supplies to power everything. I use this ISO 5, which is cool because it's got an 18 volt thing that I use on the OCD. I use that as 18 volts, which gives it a little bit more headroom. Makes it sound better, in my opinion. So that's pretty cool. Everything else just a 8 volt, you know, or sorry, 9 volt. And then we have under my tuner we have the Pedal Power Plus 2, I think is what it's called. It's got 8 different 9 volt things in there, and you can, you know, one of them's got a sag. You know, the 7th and 8th 9 volt input, you can like sag it to simulate a dying battery. I don't really use that, but it's still kind of cool. And you can plug all kinds of different stuff in it. The big line 6s that use 18 volts and whatnot. I use it all pretty much 9 volts. So, and the board I bought from Lowe's and had it cut to the size I wanted. Laid a couple of Velcro strips down, and that was that. You know, I'm not gonna spend $100-something on a board from, you know, Pedal Train or whatever. Those boards look pretty cool, but they're just too expensive for me. I'd rather spend my money on actual pedals. Okay, oh, and lastly, I forgot to mention this, we have the amp switcher here. I like the way they did the amp switcher on this amp because you've got a couple different things. You've got basically dirt, you can almost hear it, the dirt switcher that goes from clean to dirty. This normal fat switch, the clean channel, which I don't really use, has got a fat switch, which basically just gives a little bit of volume boost, a little bit more mids. It's a bit of a darker sound. What it's actually doing is the clean channel is modeled off the old Fender Vibrolux amps, and when you go to fat, it changes it to more of a Fender Bassman. So that's pretty cool. I like it, and I love the Vibroluxes. I love the Bassmans too, but the Vibrolux especially. And then last, you have this reverb knob, and that basically turns reverb on and off. And then you have the effects. What this does is, with this off, you know, let's say I'm using a couple things in the effects loop, like the echoes, or the tremolos, and whatnot. Let's say I want to turn a couple of them off at once. You know, say there's a part that has an echo and a chorus on it, and then I suddenly need to switch back. I don't like tap dancing if I can avoid it, so this will just turn everything in the effects loop off at once. It just takes the effects loop completely out of the chain. Makes it a little bit easier, so you know you can change your effects, turn on and off what you need, and then just use this button to make it all come in at once or out at once. So that's pretty cool. Alright, next we're going to go to the guitars. I have 3 main guitars that I play. The first one is a Fender Stratocaster. Now this is like a, what is it, a 96 or 97 I believe. This is the first guitar I ever got. My dad actually got me this guitar when I was in the 8th grade. And it's got some pretty cool stuff on it. The only thing I've changed is I changed the knobs to black because some of the knobs fell off. It's got a lace sensor gold pickups in it. Yeah, I love it. It's just an awesome guitar, American series. I think my dad got it for himself as a backup, but he didn't like the way it felt. So he gave it to me, this young chap who didn't even play guitar. And it's been with me ever since. It's my favorite guitar. Next we have an Epiphone Les Paul. So, this bad boy. This is one of the, let me turn it the other way. That's the way a Les Paul should look. It's this is a 2014, I believe. It's fairly recent. Just recently bought it. Just Epiphone Les Paul, Standard Pro, as you can see there. Yeah, there we go. Pretty cool guitar. It's got the coil tapping, so I can change these humbucker pickups into single coils. I don't really use that, but it's pretty cool. Little option. Love the color. And it's cool. It's a great little guitar. And then last, we have my most recent acquisition, This here Gretsch Electromatic. I got this a couple weeks ago at Sam Ash. I was just kind of looking around and I saw this as used. Apparently it belonged to a collector at one point, and he sold his entire collection, and I happened to be the lucky recipient of it. Very cool guitar. I'm still kind of learning all the parts about it. You know, you've got some information in there on the whole. It's an electromatic model. And what's weird about this is that the inlays has no inlays. For whatever reason it doesn't. It's got the dot inlays on the side, but it doesn't have the block inlays like a lot of Les Pauls and most of the Gretsch Electromatics I've seen. I'm not sure why that is. I'm still kind of researching into it. But this is a cool little guitar. It's kind of somewhat in between the Strat and the Les Paul. It's, I don't know, it's got its own thing going. But it's a very cool guitar. It's beautiful, and I absolutely love it. I've got a couple other guitars that I use, but these are kind of my three main ones. I've got a little Squire Telly it's kind of my beater guitar, and I have another Les Paul that I use as just a backup. I keep it tuned lower. And then lastly, we're going to go over to my acoustic guitar here. We've got this here acoustic guitar. This is a Yamaha, and it's just a basic acoustic guitar. It's acoustic electric, you know, you can put a little battery in. It's got a couple knobs there. It's got a built-in tuner, actually, which is pretty cool. So I like that. And that's basically my rig. Hope y'all enjoyed. Alright, we're back here. We're gonna go through the actual sound of each of these pedals through the amp. I'm gonna be playing on my Strat because it's my favorite guitar. So we're gonna skip the wah pedal for a second, and we're gonna go straight into the volume. Let's talk about the volume pedal already. It's just really, for one, it's good to just kind of shut everything up. You know, kills the signal if you gotta tune or talk, or for whatever reason you need your amp to be quiet. You need your whole rig to be quiet. You can do like these cool little swells with it, you know. You know, you can do the same there in chords. So that's pretty much what that pedal does. But when you combine it with some other pedals, it sounds really cool, as I'll demonstrate later. The next pedal we go to is the fuzz face. This might be kind of loud because it's a very, very noisy pedal, but it sounds really cool. So this pedal's, because of the germanium transistors, or whatever it is, under germanium, it's very responsive to your volume knob. So with the volume really cranked up all the way, it's very dark, very almost muddy sounding, you know, unless that's the sound you're really going for. But if you kind of back the volume knob a little bit, you'll get kind of... keep going, you know, gradually clean up to where you've almost got a complete clean sound. So for a pedal with just two knobs, it actually has a lot of different sounds involved with it. That's why I like it so much. Next pedal we go through is the compressor. The compressor is really just for clean sounds. So it's with compressor. So that's without it. So it's kind of, you know, just doing work outside. Sorry, I heard them doing a sledgehammer thing. I don't know what that noise was. So anyway, here's without. Here's with. Now I don't know if it's going to translate over into video, but it makes it sound a lot more lively. I don't know. It sounds very stale without the compressor. So you add that, it just kind of puts it all out there. So the next pedal we have is the Tube Screamer, which, as you can see, you're just playing to the amp. It's got some dirt, but it's not very dirty. So you throw in the Tube Screamer. it's even more beefy, you know. And, so here, now we have dirt. I want to demonstrate a little bit of the wah pedal. It's got a very pronounced sweep that I like, and that's why I like this particular wah pedal. And I'm normally not really into signature gear, but the Bonamassa wah just sounded the best to me. So. With the wah, I kind of tend to not go. You know, I just willy-nilly back and forth like that. You actually got to kind of not go all the way down, not go all the way up, kind of somewhere in between, and really make it kind of a voice kind of thing. I actually sound the wahs out with my mouth as I'm doing it, which looks really silly, but I think it sounds good. You know? So that's the wah pedal. Next we go to the OCD by Full Tone, which is kind of the heavy distortion pedal that I use. You know, it's as you can see, it's also very responsive to the volume knob, so. You know, if we really want to get nasty, you put the 2 strings. So that's the OCD. That's pretty much everything that's in front of the amp. So now we have the effects loop. So we'll start off with the super trim, and I don't know if y'all saw that Striker come and sit down. He likes to listen to me play. So anyway, yeah, you got this trim. You can really use it to get kind of your Creedence Clearwater Revival on. If you want to. Also, you can kind of half the speed, so this is really quick. Like that. And then it's got this hard soft notch that I actually don't use, but it's in soft mode right now, which is where I keep it. Which is kind of, you can still hear the signal throughout the whole thing. While you go to the hard mode, it's really much more pronounced, and it's almost like you lose the signal during the low points in the trim. I don't use that because I don't really like that kind of trim. So I kind of like it. So that's that. Next we have the Phase 90, which, as I talked about earlier, it's not always in there. It's kind of my spot that rotates. Right now I have the Phase 90 in there because I want to do some Pink Floyd. So it's really good if you want to do that kind of have a cigar kind of thing, kind of. Cool. And also, if you want to, that's at like 1/4 of the way up. If you want to throw it basically almost where it's not even on, you know, the knob just as low as it'll go, kind of throw some distortion in, you can get kind of a cool. it very often, but I like it. Next pedal we go to, I'm gonna get kind of a good clean going. So now we get to the chorus pedal, the TC Electronics Corona chorus. It's my favorite pedal on the board, and I'll tell you why. It just sounds cool. It's not an overpowering chorus. But it's definitely there. You can hear it. And you know, if you want to go to the tri-chorus, that's really cool too. I don't really use it much, but it's. It's just kind of my favorite effect. You know, I've always liked chorus, and that's just kind of my favorite on the market. Next we go to the carbon copy delay, which is kind of a slapback short delay. You know. You can also turn the little warble on it. I don't know if you can hear. You can kind of hear that warble at the end. I don't really like it personally. It's a cool pedal. Next we have the DD3 delay, which is very cool. You know, it's kind of a really pronounced delay. It's better if I had like a little more to it. I also like combining that with the chorus a little bit. You know, if you kind of combine that with the volume swells, you can get these really cool kind of. So that's pretty much it. You know, here's the clean tone. That's the just basic clean. I don't really use it. The fat. Yeah, not my thing. Thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoyed my rig, and feel free to comment on it if you have any questions or anything like that. Peace.